Not only did I never suspect that I would become a teenage gender dysphoric female version of Chris Hansen on my YouTube channel, but every single video I upload still gets the comments automatically disabled. I'm not done with you yet. I kind of like perspectives to give, both as a Christian transgender talking points. So about a year ago, I was going through a mad sign-up spree where I was basically signing up for every single website I found, and one of these websites was Quora. In fact, back in the day of July 2022, I answered a question with some pretty solid, valuable advice. And I even bragged later to a bunch of friends that I have a new purpose in life, providing relationship advice to dum-dums on this specific website. Alas, after that one post, I didn't post on Quora at all for about a year, until I started getting notifications from Quora of people asking random stupid questions.
Because apparently Quora is the website for stupid people to ask stupid questions and get even stupider answers.
My answer was frankly too good for Quora.
However, I began getting weird notifications advertising certain things called spaces, like teen spaces and LGBTQ spaces, where people were posting questions related to teenagers or were posting pictures of themselves as teenagers. And I was like, hold up, why are people treating Quora like Instagram? What is Quora? Quora is a social medium similar in format to Reddit.
Reddit's also known as the front page of the internet, is a massive community with a bunch of little tiny communities called subreddits, where you can basically find any subject that interests you and find a bunch of people to all talk about it.
Quora has a similar format, except it's a little bit less organized. Most of the time you're just asking questions and throwing them out into the ether for random people to answer. Also, most of the time you need to add some credential to every question you answer, such as, oh, I went to such and such college, or I have experience in this, or my toes are green. You can literally make anything your credential for any post you answer. Again, Quora is a step below Wikipedia. It's for people who don't know anything to answer questions however they want. Another thing that separates Quora from Reddit is
there are no community guidelines.
I'm serious.
I looked everywhere, there are none. The only thing you're not allowed to do is post something illegal. Otherwise, everything is free game. Gore, porn, nudity, outrageous ideas, etc. Anything can be posted as long as it's not illegal. And yes, illegal stuff still does happen. Some little known facts about Quora that I discovered later when I made an account and began snooping around. There are these communities on Quora called spaces. You can follow or you can join as a contributor.
Oh, another thing you can do on Quora is
when somebody asks a question, you can follow the question so that you get notified of an answer when that question is answered. These communities called spaces that you can either follow to get updates or you can join as a contributor. And in those cases, you need to make a request and give a reason why you want to be a contributor, but otherwise you can pretty much post whatever you want. Another thing you can do on Quora is you can follow people and you can message people. Now, Quora's messaging system is garbage. It's even worse than Pinterest. It's even worse than Wattpad. Yes, Wattpad, that app where teenagers write smutty fanfics. You can message people on Wattpad, and you can message people on Quora. Now, Quora messaging system is pretty garbage, which honestly I'm kind of grateful for. Quora doesn't really notify you when you get messages until several minutes after the person messages you, and even then it's kind of questionable whether you will get notified. Often, Quora messages just sort of crashes because, again, Quora isn't really designed for people to message each other. Something that I appreciate about Quora's messaging system is it seems to recognize when the user is a child or something, and it turns off other people's access to direct messages if it can tell you're a child. Okay, so I found that my message settings were set so that only people who followed me or shared the same community as I did were allowed to message me, but as soon as I turned it off, I got a ton of new people sending me private messages, so more on that either at the end of this video or in part 2. Another little known fact about Quora that is shockingly similar to Pinterest is that there is a pretty divided community of people who are extremely far left-leaning or extremely far right-leaning. The first point of degeneracy on Quora ties in with the fact that there are no community guidelines other than
don't post anything illegal,
meaning that people can make their profile picture their genitalia. In fact, a couple people who followed me,
And their profile picture was male genitalia.
they can also post pictures of their genitalia. There are spaces that revolve around genitalia and pornographic material. You can post porn on Quora. You can find porn on Quora. There are people posting extremely graphic sex stories on Quora.
stuff that I wish I hadn't read.
I haven't really explored this myself, but I assume that means a lot of self-harm and gore material. Yes, I found gore. Now, the problem with having no community guidelines means I can't really report people if their profile picture is their genitalia or if they have posted genitalia in some sort of space that allows it. However, one thing that is illegal is
pedophilia,
or, grooming, and there is a ton of that on Quora. First of all, as I mentioned before, I began getting a lot of notifications for specific queer spaces on Quora. Queer spaces for kids, where kids are posting pictures of their face. I don't know why they are doing that or who told them that was a good idea, but yes, these real kids are posting pictures of themselves.
and just as an experiment, I decided to go undercover as a teen as well.
Depending on which community I was in, I easily got dozens of thirsty comments from adults. Definitely just a lot of grooming in general, and it seems that teens, especially gender non-conforming or gay or bi teens, are especially targeted because they're vulnerable and they're questioning themselves and they don't fit in. Prime target for these degenerate bisexual and gay men.
It's mostly men.
But these degenerate adults to groom them. A lot of these people complimenting me and upvoting these pictures that I was posting into these teen spaces. On their accounts, they had answered a lot of sex questions with very graphic detail. It's also pretty common knowledge to all the teens in these spaces that there are just pedos running rampant everywhere. What I don't understand is why, with this full knowledge, you would continue to spend time in these communities. And where the heck are the parents in this situation? One thing that I was happy to find out was the second time I posted a picture of myself in a particular space, the comments were disabled, likely because they were just filled with, pedophilic thirst comments. So Quora sometimes makes an effort to curb these pedos. But there's another kid, specifically this one child who's about 13. I'm not going to tell you what his name is, but you can go there yourself and see that LGBTQ+ teens is dominated with this one child posting pictures of himself and getting comments from regulars acting as if they know the kid, talking to him as if they regularly converse with this child. Honestly, these orbiters who orbit this 13-year-old child who seem actively invested in his life
And are thirsting after his pictures.
I get extremely annoyed whenever I see, teens especially posting pictures of themselves and say, no
pedos, please.
I'm like, yeah, totally. Pedos are just going to scroll through the picture and be like,
Oh my goodness, that's an attractive kid. Let's go for it, baby. Oh, no pedos allowed, sorry. This post is not for me. Be on your way, have a good day. I'm not gonna look at that picture.
like, that's not how pedos work, you
Absolute imbecile.
Some of the things I've experienced on Quora were getting 70 followers within 2 weeks of posting when some of those photos were my face.
Another thing that I thought was kind of funny is
I posed as a 13-year-old gender questioning gay boy who was experimenting with femininity, and there were a ton of comments saying,
You'll never be a girl, you're not a girl, you're a boy, you'll always be a boy, etc.
and honestly very validating, thank you. Another thing you'll find on Quora and a lot of these social media are pedos pretending to be kids. For instance, there was this very obvious fake child named Cool Cody who followed me, messaged me, and was posting in different teen spaces. At first I thought he was also a predator catcher like me because he replied to somebody's comment saying something like, that's creepy, that's pedophilic, or watch out for pedos. Then he slides into my DMs talking about how cute I am
And how he would love for me to be his trans girlfriend, etc. Yeah, he's a pedo.
I also noticed that he got kicked out of one particular community and people were like,
Wait, why was Cool Cody kicked out of the community?
yeah, because he... I could tell immediately that he was not a child just by looking at his bio. He has literally an essay about his life and his gay moms and his younger sister and his boyfriend Dylan, who, by the way, Cody if you're watching,
please break up with Dylan. It is extremely toxic for Dylan to date you and at the same time date a girl and expect you to date a girl as well. That's not how relationships work, especially not at your ripe young age of 13.
but I could immediately tell that this boy was not really a 13-year-old because of the very articulate way in which he communicated. He also used some rather odd-looking photos as if someone was scrolling through somebody else's social media account and screenshotting this random person right and left. So I've come up with a more reasonable hypothesis. I believe this person discovered some little boy's or some family's TikTok account and screenshotted a bunch of photos and is pretending that's him. Some of these photos look as if they were taken from a video that was posted. Cool Cody also said something kind of weird to me, that he had genital preferences, which, yeah, because every 13-year-old says stuff like that. So I guess the solution for Quora, I don't really know what to do. Quora is so corrupt and degenerate. First of all, Quora, please put in place some community guidelines. Second of all, disable all comment sections of children, close all children's DMs so that they can't message each other or get messages on Quora. Definitely ban nudity and gore or whatever else is on Quora. There are porn sites for porn, and Quora, which is a space where just kids have easy access to it.
That's not a place for porn.
Another thing is to just raise awareness. All this illegal activity going on Quora. It is common knowledge to regulars of Quora, but not that common to people who have just simply never heard of it.
Again, people hear about grooming going on all the time on Instagram, Snapchat, Discord, Omegle, etc.
The Pinterest thing was new, and I actually have more information about that in the second half of this video. But it's also going on Quora. It's on all these different sites, and we need to be vigilant, and parents need to be actively engaged in children's online activity. Speaking of Pinterest, I have extremely exciting news about that. So I made my video exposing the fact that Pinterest was protecting predators on its app back in July 2022, and I spent about 3 to 4 months pretending to be a 12-year-old boy on Pinterest. I talked to predators, I saw illegal stuff, and then I made a 40-minute expose in November, I believe, and since then articles have been coming out since January of 2023 exposing these predators on Pinterest. On March 14th, 2023, an article came out saying, "Senators seek answers from Pinterest after NBC News investigation. Pinterest says it has taken aggressive action after NBC News revealed how easily men on the site can create sex-themed boards of little girls." So this kind of bothers me that they said
Of little girls
instead of children, because I saw maybe 1 or 2 accounts saving photos of little girls.
It was primarily little boys that I was seeing.
Why aren't they exposing the fact that boys can just as easily be groomed? The biggest accounts I was finding on Pinterest were these 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old boys who had hundreds of followers. In fact, the 9-year-old actually reached 1K followers. Just kind of annoyed that they're saying little girls and not, like, children, because it's both girls and boys. Now, it doesn't seem like Pinterest is facing any repercussions. It seems to me like Pinterest is just trying to retreat and lazily scour itself of anything pedophilic. I used to be pretty active in the Pinterest subreddit until I was shadow banned for exposing pedos too much.
I'm sorry.
But people have been complaining a lot about glitches in Pinterest's algorithm as Pinterest tries to clean itself up. Now, if minors post pictures of themselves, the comments get disabled.
This has never happened before.
On the account of the 9-year-old boy that I've been following for about a year now, all of the posts showing himself have comments disabled.
He isn't doing this, Pinterest is just automatically doing this.
Also now, if your account has an age younger than 21, I believe, you are unable to message people so that, no creeps can slide into your DMs and message you.
I think this is actually great.
I'm happy that Pinterest is having so many glitches now where people are unable to see who they're following, or people are unable to use the search function or get notifications. I think that's actually a great thing because that means people are going to stop using Pinterest, which is great because it is just a disgusting site where predators can find vulnerable children. Pinterest deserves to have its app shut down for allowing this to continue for so long until they were
Caught.
And it definitely seems to me more like Pinterest is not taking accountability, but is more just trying to clean everything up and hide everything,
which is not that respectable.
but hey, as long as kids are being kept safe, that's the most important thing. Some final takeaways in this video. As we've seen, Pinterest and Quora are very unsafe places for children. However, a lot of teenage outcasts swarm to Quora and Pinterest to find community. My response to this is literally make an Instagram account, make a Snapchat account, make a TikTok account, because at least those apps are mainstream enough to have protective guidelines to keep the children safe. And sure, they're not perfect, but the creepy stuff going on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat is more widely known, so parents will be more vigilant about their children on Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. What these kids need is to find friends and to get a hobby off the internet, but I understand what they're craving is online validation. They can get that from Instagram and TikTok, which is safer for them. Parents, just be involved in your child's activity on social media. Yeah, that's it.